What is going on, people? I came here live again today, trying to do more lives. I went live a couple days ago, and then it kind of abruptly got because of the whole my internet and stuff. So I thought I'd come on here live, wait for people to get on here. But I had fun, and people want to see more lives and stuff. So I thought I'd try it. We'll see how many people come in. For those of you who haven't seen the title of this, pretty much I'm here to show off some pretty interesting additions, I guess, of movies in my collection. You have your standard Blu-rays and stuff, but the more I got into collecting, the more I was looking for those, special editions, those cool looking ones, I guess you want to call it, rather than your, everyday kind of deal. I do have, I recently watched Panda Labyrinth. Can we talk about it while we wait for more people? I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth in the longest time. The last time I watched it was probably, when did it come out? Early 2010s or something, or even before that. I haven't seen that movie in forever, but because it has a special edition with the Criterion Collection. To tell you the truth, I'd never into that. That's one group. That's one not group, but what do you want to call it? Company that I never, got into. I collect my Scream Factories. I collect Vinegar Syndrome. Seven, I got a little bit into. I have some movies from that, Magnet, Dark Sky, and stuff. But Criterion was one. I guess some of the movies that were in there, I never really dug. I guess never really got into as much. But Pan's Labyrinth, I remember liking it from what it was. A little weird for sure. Kind of had, it reminded me, because I think Coraline came out after, but it reminded me of like a live action version of the weirdness of Coraline. Definitely not even close to it, but it just had that weird vibe to it. Very interesting story, especially towards the end. I'm like, the end of it, I was just like, oh, you get so. I guess that's what the good thing and bad thing about certain movies is, when it's so character driven that, if there's a character you like and they end up, like a spoiler alert with Pan's Labyrinth, it's, you get so invested in a character and then that happens. It's like, I don't want to give way too much if people are watching now or later that haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth. I think you should check it out. What's up, Tony? What's your top 5 Scream Factory Blu-rays, not including steelbooks? So let's see. If I had to pick them out of here, now are we talking just the ones I like the most, or the ones that might be worth, like out of print ones that might be worth the most, or because with the steelbooks, I mean, this is one of the editions that I was talking about with like the special editions. This one I didn't have. I missed out on a lot of them because I wasn't collecting Scream Factory titles. I probably started maybe like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Just the ones you like. Probably really started collecting Scream Factory heavy 2 to 3 years ago. So I was kind of late to the game with a lot of them. But this is definitely, one that I think I'll cherish for a long time. And it's the new Friday the 13th box set with all the Friday the 13th in it, going to the 2009 one, I believe it is, with the Freddy versus Jason, and then it has the Friday the 13th. If it focuses a little bit more, but this has to be one of my favorite ones. Talking about scary movies, have you seen The Call? Not yet. The last live that I did. I just love the artwork they do, especially the good 90. Oh yeah, definitely. Especially, there's so many ones that I want to get the slip cover to, because with this, that's a one thing too that I guess most people don't understand why I love physical media as much as I do. It's not only just having the physical, like I grew up, with physical media, so going to like Blockbuster and stuff picking up the movie and just holding it. That's one thing. But the other thing is just the artwork and stuff. Like, of course, you can flip through Netflix and stuff, and you'll see like a poster or something that'll catch your eye and stuff. But just having the physical, media of it, like this is one of the ones that I was going to show off, and it's just like so odd, so weird. But it's just one of those things that catch your eye. Like I can look at this from across the room and be like, okay, that's definitely an yeah, man, I missed the Blockbuster and even the mom and pop shops. Blockbuster was one thing, but what did you think of Becky? I don't think it was especially really scary or horror, but more of gore. We were having this conversation on the podcast that I do. If you're interested, check out Wicked Horror Show every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube or on Facebook. We do. Most of the time, we'll have guests on from like indie titles and indie horror movie titles, either directors, actors, actresses, and stuff. But this past one, we tried to have the director of the movie Tar that is on Amazon Prime right now, but he ended up not coming on. Family issues and all that stuff. So we sat down. We had just a chat, just an open chat and all that stuff. And we were talking about the difference between horror movies and stuff because, there's some people that are consider, Gremlins a horror movie, or they'll consider, certain movies they'll consider horror movies and other people don't consider, on the spectrum. So sometimes it's just an action movie with gore and they'll be like, oh, well, there's gore in it. It's a horror movie. And it doesn't always, go follow that criteria, I guess. And there's so many different horror has so many different variables, and horror has so many different subgenres and stuff. But just because there's certain gore in it doesn't make it a horror movie. Becky, it was more of a, like you said, it has gore in it, but it's more of an action film with gore and stuff. So definitely, I wouldn't, if I had to, it's not in my horror collection. There's certain movies in there that, are iffy that people might not think of it, but true, like Freddy versus Jason or today's Freaky. Like at that point in time, Freddy versus Jason, just because it's with horror icons. Freaky, I have not seen yet, but I've heard the premise, or it's like Freaky Friday turned into, a horror movie and stuff. But then you get into, like me, myself, I enjoy horror comedies myself, like Tucker and Dale versus Evil and stuff like that, which some people are like, it's more of a comedy with horror aspects rather than a horror movie with comedy aspects kind of deal. So there's very few and far between where you could say it's a true horror movie. You have your dark comedies, I guess you want to call it, where it's horror movies with some elements of comedy in it. But like I said, I enjoyed Tucker and Dale versus Evil, but then it's that thrown, do you think it's a horror movie? It's one of those deals where it does have a lot of gore and guts and stuff like that. But technically, is it scary? No, it's more funny than anything. But, it's always, I guess, to the eye of the beholder. It all depends on what you consider, what. But, yeah, like I said, we had that conversation about on this previous podcast about what makes a horror movie, what's considered a horror movie and stuff like that. Like, that brings up not horror, but like Christmas movies. Like, do you consider Gremlins a Christmas movie or Die Hard a Christmas movie or anything like that? For example, I enjoyed the Grudge 2 2020. Still have not seen that one. I wanted to pick it up as a true horror movie, but only if it didn't telegraph the scary too many, especially mainstream horror nowadays. It's one of those things where that kind of mainstream horror and indie horror, I lean towards more indie horror because nowadays everything is so cookie cutter for your mainstream horror movies. It has to have certain things, mostly jump scares and all that kind of, like you look at the what do you want to call it? Paranormal Activity movies. I think it's a one-trick pony. You watch it once or twice, and then you know it's coming. So at that point in time, unless you totally forget it, the next time you watch it, it's not as scary as the first time. First time, okay, that's one thing when you're not knowing what's coming and all this kind of stuff. But you watch Paranormal Activity 1 or 2 times and you're like, oh, okay, well, now I know what's coming. Now it's not, as scary. Now it's, not as good stuff. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's all to the eye of the beholder and what you think and going from there. But like I was saying before with, like just physical media and stuff, it's one of those things where this movie here is, if you haven't seen it, very, very odd, very strange and all that stuff. But if you're looking, if you're going through somewhere and then all of a sudden you see this with society, where it's like a group of, the thing is called shunting. I'll leave it at that. If you haven't seen the movie, just say the last, maybe 10 minutes of this movie are just completely ridiculous and crazy. But you look at some of this like art and stuff and you just look at it and you're like, okay, I'm just going to see this at the corner over here and it's just going to catch your eye. Nowadays, people are just not so, I want to say sold, but too many people, they're like, oh, well, why have physical media when you could just stream it, go on Netflix and do all this kind of stuff and have it so easily accessible and stuff. Well, the other thing my take on physical media and streaming is because it's so easy for, stuff on Netflix to be taken off. I guess they lose the rights to the movie. They, buy it for a certain amount of time, and then the movie's here and there, and then gone. And then you're like, oh, well, now I'm never going to be able to see the movie again. At least with physical media, you have it in your hand, you have it, with you and all that stuff, and it's always going to be there unless, of course, some people sell off their collections and stuff like that. Me, knock on wood, haven't had to do that yet, but there's some movies that aren't accessible in my opinion. Well, there are some movies that aren't as oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you get certain movies. I mean, some of these I got at the right point in time, and it's one of those deals where some are out of print and just the ridiculous amount of money. Like I said, I bought that Friday the 13th set, when it first came out, but it, $150. I saved up for it because I knew it was coming out. But there was other movies that I got just in right before, like I got the what do you want to call it? The Dead Alive Blu-ray. I got that for $15.99 on Amazon, and that was right before it all went to shot up to like $70, $80, $90. Like I had a hard time obtaining the Mist, not only as a physical media, but also at an affordable price. Just the Blu-ray, not to mention the Steelbook. Yeah, that's like I said, there's certain titles out there, as collectors, me getting more into it. There's certain movies that are on my watch list on eBay, because a lot of the times when I was doing, I did a few, out of print movie like videos, everything that I had that's out of print or a little expensive, I was going by Amazon prices, which I got yelled at, and I was getting, people were telling me don't go by Amazon prices because they're not even close. You have to go by eBay prices and stuff like that. So now when I go for my like out of print stuff, I go for eBay, and I go, I'll look and see what they have. If it's out of my price range, I'll just sit there and wait and look, and eventually, like, the movie Ticks I bought for $80. I was like, I wanted this. It's been on my radar for so long. Let me just get it. And then literally, like, a couple weeks later, I found it for $40. So I bought it for $40 too. So now I have 2 copies. But I bought it for $80 the first time, just because it's like, it was on my radar. I didn't buy anything else during the week, and I bought that. What's going on, Serge? How are you? Yeah, it's definitely, some movies are, just astronaut. Again, it's all, the hype of the movie at the point in time, or who's selling them on eBay, and, what, if people want it or not. But work was all right, Serge. Long, tiring, but work was all right. Probably going to do this depending on how many people pop in and out. Probably do this for about an hour or two, and then got work early tomorrow morning. So I don't know how long I'll be doing this. Like I said, the more people that come in, the more people that talk. I'll keep this going for longer, at least an hour. And then, like I said, if I get more people to talk and more people in here, we'll go at least till, if it's, entertaining, not entertaining enough, but if we get enough, talking and conversing and all that stuff, I'll try to keep it. But probably 10 o'clock is the latest I'll do this. But a lot of people, I guess, liked my live, so I'm like, why not do it again? Try to do it a little bit more. Did anyone miss me? Weren't you at work today, Serge? Yeah, I felt like that, but I think just part of the game, I've never really. Well, yeah, I feel that, but I think it's just part of the game. I've gotten really good cheap deals, but then overpaid for some. Yeah, oh, trust me. There's a bunch of movies in my collection that I definitely overpaid for, and then I was saying my buddy got me the Gate DVD when it was I think it was 40, going for 40 or 50 bucks on eBay, and I wasn't going to pay for that, but then he got it for me, and I'm like, oh, he didn't have to do that. Hopefully he didn't, pay a lot. And then literally a month later, it got re-released by either, I forget what company re-released it, put it on DVD, and it was like $6 in the Walmart bin. So I'm like, I'm lucky I didn't pay for that, but there's definitely been movies I way overpaid for, just to have it, just to say I got it in my collection, and then people are finding it in like Dollar Trees and going to local Goodwills or pawn shops or something like that. And I'm like, I don't have any pawn shops around here, so seeing all these people find it for cheap, I'm like, it sucks for me. But like I just got the Italy Fight Club steelbook for $10. FYE, and eBay has it for 40 to 65. Yeah, there's something that, like I said too, you find it some little hint. I'm gonna probably do a giveaway, but if you're I guess I didn't talk to Troy today, so but on Hamilton Book, if you're looking for steelbooks, they have a couple steelbooks for right now, like $5.95, I believe. That if you're looking on eBay, they're going for 24 to $40 in between that range. It's a couple of the horror Blu-rays. So if you're looking for that, the steelbooks, which I picked up a few, and I'm going to probably do a giveaway for them. But I bought those for $40 each, and then I found it, and then I use Hamilton Book a lot, and 2 months later, they're on Hamilton Book for $5. So paying $25 to $30 more than I could have bought it for a few months down the road, kind of is a punch to the face. But that is what happens when you're a collector. I mean, most of the time sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get burnt. But again, there's certain things that I'm just like, I need to have it in my collection. If I overpaid for it, I overpaid for it. But at least I know now I have it in my collection. Probably one day all this stuff will, be worthless. But at least at this point in time, some of it's worth money. Some of it's your everyday thing. Like this one here, I found for, I've always seen that with Child's Play. Yeah, that one's on there. Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Carrie, I believe, are the three that they do have on Hamilton Book now for $5.95, and those are the ones that oh yeah, Black Swan. I bought that one for around $40. Most of them I bought for $40, except for the one. What is your best on Blu-ray of all time? Best Blu-ray of all time. If we're talking about price-wise, probably the best would be the the 50 movie set. I have it in my closet. I'm not going to go and get it, but it's a 50 movie set of, I believe it's Columbia Pictures or something. It's got 50 movies in it. The best price, because I got it Christmas time. My aunt gave me a $100 Amazon gift card, which I picked up, and I had like $80. So what's going on, Anthony? How are you? But then, like I was saying, certain companies, they'll put out certain movies that are like limited releases, like A24 up on that corner. Again, horrible with pointing, but A24 stuff I have up in this section here, and there's a couple, A24 movies that were special editions, I guess you want to call it, that were going for a little bit. This one I look for forever, just because I'm a completist and I try to get everything that there is. The only way you can get this one is if it was on, you bought it off A24 itself, and that is Krishna. Still haven't sat down to watch this one, but this one, if you go on like eBay and stuff, it's going for like $50 to $60. Triborough, it's going on. But like I said, Krishna, couldn't find it anywhere else besides eBay, and they were talking $60 to $70 bucks. What's going on, Seth? How are you? And then the other one is the special edition of Midsummer. This is, if you look at it, the only problem with this thing is it's nice looking and all that stuff, but the thing is so big and so off that I can't fit it into, like if you look at a normal Blu-ray and then you look at the special edition, it's like a Blu-ray and a half. So it's very hard to find anywhere to put this damn thing. I have enough room now, but yeah, it's like a hard booklet, and then it comes with this like pretty cool looking cover art and all that stuff with the bear, and then it comes with, it's the director's cover of it. It comes with like a booklet. Comes with the one disc here. This is the director's cut. This is the only thing that you have for it. But then it comes, with all these different pictures. I'm sure, like, of course, the one I go to is like naked people on a cross and all that stuff. Probably going to get the this video kicked off or whatever. But this one, like I said, really cool edition. But it's just so off and so like weird to it. Do you own the Dom DeLuise movie Fatso? Shout Factory put it out on Blu-ray. That one the only really like Scream Factory, Shout Factory, I have some Shout Factory stuff, but it's like the cartoons that they put out, like the old Nickelodeon cartoons that they put out. But I don't have any. There's some movies, but I didn't realize they were putting out like early cartoons and stuff. I gotta check that one for sure. I think I told you from a long time, Blu-rays come, certain Blu-rays come full screen, certain Blu-rays come, it all depends on what you're looking for. Most of the time they'll come without full screen, but there are some Blu-rays that do. What's your favorite box set or special edition? Like I said, this one I think took the cake. I was showing it off before, but it was in the beginning. I didn't get a chance to get the original version of it's not even the version of it, but it's one of those. This one definitely jumped up there. It's the Friday the 13th Scream Factory set with all the movies and such from the original Friday the 13th all the way to the remake of the Friday the 13th one. It also has, Freddy versus Jason, but this one definitely jumped from me having certain ones to that one. I showed this one off a little bit before, and that's Society. This one, such a weird movie, but the cover art for this one is just, really cool looking. So I was like, definitely have to get this one. Fatso, it's a live action. Okay, never mind then. I was thinking of, what I was thinking of? And it wasn't even Dom DeLuise. It was Rodney Dangerfield, where he played that the dog. I forget what the hell it was called, but he plays like a dog that's gambling and all that stuff. I love the Friday the 13th set. They need to a Nightmare on Elm Street. After I'm sure the way that they saw that thing flew off the shelves and everybody was buying that. I'm sure everything will get Friday Nightmare on Elm Street, and then they do have the I'm sure this one I have the Halloween set. This is very small. Just two. All the discs are in two different ones. Roverfield, that was it. But that's a movie that instead of Fatso, for some reason I was thinking about that one. But did you get the John Hughes collection on Blu-ray? And the only reason I did get it because I already had Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Pretty in Pink. But the other two movies that were never released on Blu-ray, what is it? She's Having a Baby and Some Kind of Wonderful. I'm like, I have to get it just because of those two movies. Never owned those two on any other format, but I was at the camp of Friday the 13th. Yeah, it's in Jersey, so that's pretty cool. I think they do. Excuse me. I think they do tours at that camp. I forget what the name of the camp is, but they actually do. You can go there and they'll take you around I think it's pretty expensive though. I think it's like $100, but they'll take you to the sites where they shot the movie and all that stuff. So that is actually pretty cool. But another edition that I liked, it's DVD actually. But this one, they have two separate versions of this. What do you think of Psycho? I enjoyed it for what it was. The remake, however, not so much. But with like all the Psycho ones, I think they were pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I think I prefer the 2018 Halloween Steelbook. That's another thing too. Steelbooks, I never was really into Steelbooks, and then when I collect, I get like these phases, I guess you want to call it. There's certain times where I'll just start collecting one thing or a certain company, or like I said with the A24 movies, I just strictly went for that. Like I was finding all the movies that were actually released, and now I pretty much have everyone that got released, and it pisses me off because there's certain movies from A24 that are only on DVD. So when you're a Blu-ray collector, and then you have all these movies on DVD, Blu-ray, and then they have certain DVDs out of them, it's like that annoys me, I guess you want to call it. My one, I have many pet peeves, but that one collecting where, like the American Horror Stories. I have all the American Horror Stories except for the last season, not 85 because they haven't released that yet. But the one season right before that, they put on DVD only. Everything else was Blu-ray, but the last season before 85. It's like, why would you not, just follow the trend, continue to, put out the same thing? And I don't know. That pissed me off too. But this is this edition of this is actually rarer, should I say. The other edition goes for a little bit, but this one they had to pull off the shelves because of the Red Cross, and that's a Sleepaway DVD set. This one they had to pull off because the Red Cross, I don't know if they sued them, but they said whoever made this has to take it off shelves because, we're Red Cross, we have the thing, and you're, we're kind of putting it in a bad name, I guess you want to call it. I had that a long time ago. And then you have, just the insert, and also it comes with the movie that was never released. They did make Sleepaway Camp, The Return to Sleepaway Camp or something like that. But this is the production stills and stuff of Sleepaway Camp 4: The Survivor, which never came out. So that one is pretty interesting. But this is probably one of the DVD box sets that I enjoyed the most. Yeah, that happened to me with some of my series. It's annoying, especially like I said, when you're trying to collect everything and then they switch it up to be just like what do you want to call it? I didn't care too much about the American Horror Story because I bought all those. They had one July 4th. They had all those for like $10. So I'm like, let me just get them now. They're $10, and then I figured out that the one was only on DVD, and I'm like, okay, well this sucks. But like A24 movies, when I'm trying to get all of them clipped, that is my brother. So if you're into Twitch and you one season on Blu-ray, so. Everyone new to the stream, make sure to sub to Tony. Thank you. I forgot to, say a lot of the people that come here, I think might be already subbed. But if you're not subbed already, go ahead and do so. Hit that like button, and of course, Camp Nobi Bosco. Okay, that's what. So Serge has been to that camp. He went there. So yeah, that was Camp Nobi Bosco in Jersey is where they taped the original, or filmed, should I say, the original Friday the 13th. And now, like I said, it is a tourist attraction. Again, I think it's pretty expensive, but they take you. You can either go in the morning or at night, and I think the night is a little bit more expensive, where they take you. And my buddy went there, so. But another addition that I like a lot, they have two different versions of this, because they have an American version of this collection from Arrow that has only the first two movies, but then they put out the same exact, well, not the same, it's different, but they have the 4-movie set from Arrow, and that's The House. Anthony called it the House 4-movie set. So the American version only has the first two movies. As I have it, hold it upside down. No, I have it right side up. But the English or whatever version has the all 4 of the movies, which House 3 is actually released from. Now my camera's all blurry and all that stuff, but House 3, they released the horror show on Screen Factory, which I think is also out of print. So let me focus this camera a little bit, because I guess maybe having my face a little blurry is probably better for you guys. But let me put my hand in there, and hopefully eventually it fixes itself. But that is the House 4-movie set, as opposed to the House 2-movie American version. This plays in your, it's a, like I said, the UK release, but it plays in, it is, it says, I think it's only region B, but it plays in, the 4 movies as opposed to, but that box set itself is going for a decent price. This one I like a lot because I enjoy the movie, and it comes with 3 different versions of it. You get the original version, you get the theatrical cut, and you get the director's cut. So it's the Donnie Darko set as well from Arrow. So, like I said, Donnie Darko, one of my favorite movies, and it comes with 3 versions of the movie, and it's pretty cool. So this one I think is also fetching a pretty penny as well. But my favorite movie is A Texas Chainsaw. So for those of you who haven't been following me since the beginning of my my YouTube career, my brother is making fun of me because I was going through and I don't know how to speak 95% of the time. And I said Texas Chainsaw instead of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So he's a funny young lad. on my list to collect all the Exorcist movies and also the Hostel movies. Well, with the Exorcist movie, dependent on what you want to do, because they do, of course you were. But anyway, he with the Exorcist movies, if you're looking to get it individually, that might be a little bit tougher, because I know they did have a set. Forget who put it out, but I know someone put out a set of all three. And then the Hostel also, you could probably, I think Miramax or something put out like the three movies or something. I wish they would make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre box set. They had the or was that only the first one? I think it might have only been the first one, now that I think of it. But they had the like big rig or whatever set that they had. I prefer the reboot to the Texas Chainsaw. You go get them, cuz. Well, also because Alexa Dudero is a fine specimen. She's good looking. But yeah, that I don't know. I actually liked. Oh, what the hell was it called? Was it Leatherface, or it might have been Leatherface? The one. A lot of people didn't like Leatherface. I enjoyed Leatherface. Now that I look at it in my collection, yes, this one here, Leatherface. Everybody was giving this one crap, but this one actually, it's a. They said the problem was that there wasn't enough of Leatherface in it, but what they don't kind of put into account is this was a prequel to everything. So the reason why Leatherface wasn't in it was because he wasn't Leatherface just quite yet. So everybody hated this movie, but I definitely liked it. So if you're looking for a movie to watch, I'd say go ahead and check Leatherface out. My plan is to get the Exorcist Steelbook, the black and red one, and put all the movies in that Steelbook. Good idea. It had a nice twist. I thought so too. A lot of people, when I saw the reviews and stuff, it was like, well, I hardly ever go by like Rotten Tomatoes scores or anything like that, because half the people on there, they review these movies and it's just, it's kind of ridiculous. Half these people, I don't even think watch the movies before they review it, because a lot of the times it's, this movie sucks. Okay, well, tell me why it sucks. Don't say it sucks, because then I'm not even going to listen to your review, because technically it's not even a review. But nowadays, reviewers, they have their I don't listen to critics whatsoever, because a lot of the times they use such big words for movies that I guess it's just over the top of my head. But a lot of the time it's just like I don't listen to. I don't even watch. I try not to watch trailers either. Other called Camp Blood. Well, that is over in the over there. Camp Blood. I got the Camp Blood series, which is put out by Rod Sterling. A lot of they're like lower budget movies kind of deal, but there's 8 of them. So then I bought the box set, which is right there. That's Camp Blood. But that definitely not as good as Friday the 13th or anything like. But even longest time, I never had the movie The Burning, and I guess so many people were saying it's a better version of Friday the 13th. I watched it, and I guess I just so ingrained with Friday the 13th that it wasn't as good. The Burning and stuff like that. So. Let me get a sip of water, because my throat is actually a little parched. But talking about Alexander Dudero, did you see Songbird? She's in it, but I kind of enjoy the movie, especially for the first COVID movie. No, the only other, well, I don't want to say the only other movie I've seen. Burying the Ex, which is a good movie with her in it, and then uh, what's the other one? Malevolence or something like that. I think there's 3 movies: Malevolence, Malevolence 2, and she's in the 3rd one, I believe. No, she's in 2. Malevolence 2, Bereavement. So I haven't seen Songbird, which now that I know, there's certain movies that I will given, even if it's a movie that I know I'm not going to like, if there's a certain person in it, like I will watch any Anna Kendrick movie just because I think I'm madly in love with her. But have you seen the Wrong Turn reboot? No, I tried to buy it, but right now it's unavailable on Amazon. I was trying to get it, and I just couldn't. So I'll have to wait for it. I heard good and bad things, so I'm going to have to sit there and just wait for it. Are we going to consider Split as a horror movie or even Fantasy Island from Blumhouse? Like I said before, with that, I'd consider that more of a thriller. But then, of course, you can say a thriller is, just an offshoot, a subgenre of horror. But then some people just consider a thriller movie a thriller movie. So it's what's going on, Michael? How are you? So if you just joined, we're talking pretty much most of the time. Anytime I do lives, it's pretty much movie talk. So what about Cure for Wellness? That one I never got into that one. I might have to sit down and watch it again. I don't know. I just never got into it. As I was sitting there, it got a little bit too boring for me, and I'm just like, yeah. So if I lose a movie in the first like 10, 15 minutes, it kind of ruins the whole thing for me, which I shouldn't do that. I should just keep on watching certain things. But if it just doesn't catch my attention in the first, quarter of it, it's like, I kind of drag through it. Shutter Island I liked a lot, but Shutter Island I think is more of a thriller than anything. But that's also because like I said, there's certain movies that have horror elements, but I wouldn't consider, like we were talking before, gore. Just because a movie has gore doesn't mean it's a horror movie. Like there's certain war movies that people are getting blown up into pieces and all that stuff, but you wouldn't consider it a horror movie. I watched 2 films over the weekend. I bought one on DVD, Human Hibachi. That we actually had the director on, which I found that was like a tale of 2 movies. The first half was like I did a review for it. It was a tale of like a love story in the first half, and then the second half turned into like a hostel kind of deal. So we had the director on the podcast, really cool guy. And I watched another called The Butchers, which was pretty cool. That one I've never seen. It sounds familiar. I'm trying to think. I don't remember if it's a movie I'm thinking of. But the name The Butchers does sound familiar. No, The Butcher Boys, I think it was a movie I'm thinking of, which was like an English title or something like that. I think it was called The Butcher Boys, the one I'm thinking of. I enjoyed Shutter Island too much. Have you seen You Should Have Left with Kevin Bacon? I own it. I never seen it. There's so many movies in my collection. I probably have a good like 40, 50 movies that I have that I never sat down to watch. Kevin Bacon was good, but that movie was creepy. I'll have to check it out now that you're saying a Kevin Bacon movie is creepy more than anything. So I'll have to sit down and watch that one for sure. The only other one. No, what the hell? You have Tremors with Kevin Bacon, and then you have the other one. Is it The Intruders? One of those weird ones where it's like, jump scares and all that stuff. I forget the other one I'm thinking of with Kevin Bacon. It was creepy. I enjoyed the whole theme. You're entrapped in your own lies. The whole consciousness sets you up. Camp Blood is a cabin in front of the. Okay, so that I did not know. Camp Blood is a cabin of Friday the 13th. Anthony Shutter Island is one of the best scripts ever. I must say, like I said, I wouldn't consider it a horror movie, but the acting in that is really cool. Plus the whole mindset of it. I definitely dig Shutter Island, especially the end. It brings up so many questions, like did it work, and did he know what he was doing, kind of deal the whole time. And it has that. It leaves you with more. I don't want to say with more questions and answers, but it definitely leaves you with some questions. So that's up to the person who watches it and what they take from it. But it's definitely one that I definitely enjoyed, and it doesn't hurt that I enjoy DiCaprio a lot as an actor. So there's so many movies out there, like what's the one with Edward Norton in it? I can't even think of the damn name now. Primal Fear. If you've never seen Primal Fear, like those movies, I enjoy a lot. Like Seven, like psychological thrillers. Like horror movies are definitely up top for me, but I think the next step down would be like psychological thrillers that make you think, and then it's like, okay, I've never see. The problem with me is when I'm watching movies, I try to figure out the movie before I even I'm in my head have like 10 scenarios going that I'm like, okay, this could happen, this might happen, and then if something veers me off that, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to happen, so I think this is going to happen. And instead of just watching the movie, I have plot lines in my head at the same time. So I agree, a psychological thriller can be horrific too. Daybreakers, I feel, is a true horror. That's the one with Ethan Hawke where they run out of blood. Is that the one? Yeah, okay, with Ethan Hawke. That's the one where they run out of blood, so they had artificial blood and all that stuff. Never really got into like vampires per se, but that one definitely had an interesting storyline where it's like whatever, like humans and vampires living together. That one I remember was one of the first movies I got when I first started this whole channel. I was doing like stuff that I got during the weekend and stuff, and Daybreakers was one of the first movies that I remember reviewing and watching for the channel. So that's interesting. Going back to the beginning of the video, Pan's Labyrinth could be considered horror. It's definitely, there's certain movies that aren't horror movies that scare the shit out of me. Like if you ever seen Return to Oz, the sequel to The Wizard of Oz with Fairuza Balk in it. Definitely not a horror movie whatsoever. Not even close to it. But that movie scares the shit out of me. Certain scenes in that movie where she's like taking the heads out of whatever. But it's definitely one that there's certain movies that have creepy scenes in it for sure. But Pan's Labyrinth, the freaking the guy with the eyes and all that stuff, that one is definitely a creepy looking creature and all that stuff. If I saw that, they always have that picture of like the wolf coming up the stairs or whatever. If I saw that guy with the eyes, I'd definitely be scared. Blade series and Underworld series, I like both those series for sure. The Invisible Man, I wouldn't consider a horror. Willow is definitely one of my favorite movies growing up for sure. Warwick Davis, what's his name? Drawing a blank here. Val Kilmer, definitely one of my favorites. I think the one guy who played Froggle, I think died recently. But then the one guy the one like warrior guy with like the braids and all that stuff, he was in so many movies that I remember watching. I think he was in a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie when I was younger, one of the Double Toil and Trouble. If I remember, I think it's the same guy. I haven't seen Seven or as upside down as I don't like as above so below. That one I never got into, but 7 is definitely one that you have to sit down and watch. That one's definitely one of my favorites for sure. I hear you. They are true horror. Any opinions, guys? There's certain movies too, like, horror movies are horror movies, but I think like true events that, things that could happen are definitely scarier for sure. Your video is eating your face. What is that? Is eating your face be and not doing no more? That I have no idea where you're going with. 7 is really good. Yeah, 7, like I said, Primal Fear, Usual Suspects. There's so many like psychological thrill, Silence of the Lambs. I wouldn't even call them blind buys. Those are movies that if I had to like start a collection, that would probably be, there'd be some movies, Fight Club. Also, but I mean, my mind is different too. I'd get like Sandlot and stuff like that. But if I was, trying to start a collection, it definitely, Philadelphia, and that's one, definitely not a thriller, but that's one that I grew up loving. Definitely a weird premise to love, but Philadelphia is one of the movies I love. But I'd say psychological thrillers, you have to go with 7. You have to go with Usual Suspects, Primal Fear, Shutter Island, like we were talking about before. What's another really good? With Silence of the Lambs. Even Along Came a Spider is pretty good. Goonies for sure. I have Goonies 4 times over, 5 times over, I think. Let's see. I have the 25th anniversary. I got the regular standard Blu-ray, 2 steelbooks, and then I got a set with the Goonies and the 2 what is it? Goonies and the 2 Gremlins 1 and 2. So I think I have that movie 5 times over, and I want to get another I want to get like as many steelbooks as they have. I have 2 of the steelbooks, but I want to get there's like 2 or 3 more, and then 1 from a different country and all that stuff. I said I always said I was never gonna collect more than 1 version of each movie, but then like I said, steelbooks come out and each one has a different cool looking cover and all that stuff. Same movie, just different. It's the collector in me, and it's the certain versions I just have to have. Like this one I bought, it came in this, which was actually pretty cool. I never ordered anything from this company, but Ronin Films. I got the it was eating your face from It's Not Doing It No More when you were talking. That's why. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like the last time too, around an hour into it, is when the internet started, whatever, just going wonky. So hopefully it stays, because the last time it like froze. Now that I say it's going to freeze eventually. But yeah, there's certain movies that I have multiple times over. This is one. Speaking of, but anyway, the movie Haunt. If you're looking for a pretty cool looking, like a newer movie, came out end of last year. Haunt is definitely one to check out. But it came from Ronin Films. This is like a collector's edition, where they go to a what do you want to call it? One of those haunted houses that they go and the people are all over the place, and it's a cool looking haunt movie. But anyway, speaking of doubles, I'm going to, where the hell did I put it? Oh, here it is. All right. So anyway, I just recently got, if you haven't seen it, check it out after this. I got the horror pack from February's horror pack. If you don't know what horror pack is a monthly subscription service where what do you want to call it? Where you can buy 4 Blu-rays, 4 DVDs, or if you want to build up a collection, get both boxes and you get 8 movies. Little plug for Horror Pack. Anyway, I already had this one. They came out with this. I bought this. Yummy. And then, of course, now I got to keep this one because the cover art to this one is ridiculous. They have this. Just look at that cover art for this movie. It's the Yummy, Extra Yummy Collector's Edition of this movie, which maybe I'll sell this one off. I don't know, but it has a Shudder exclusive. But, like, I think I'm keeping this one for sure. It's the same movie. Now I got to keep it because of cover art and all that stuff. So that's the point I was trying to get to is, there's certain movies collectors will keep and whatever and go on from there. And movies kind of similar. The Unknown or Unknown Caller is a Spaniard movie. I don't think I've seen that one. The Little Things was terrible. I don't think I've seen that one either. Good Halloween movie, The Haunt. Yes, I think so too. What is your best DVD editions? I have all my DVDs except for like the ones I showed off in the last time packed away just because going from I have probably just as many DVDs as I have Blu-rays, and it's just no space. So all my DVDs are actually packed away. So the only one I have here is the what do you want to call it? The Sleepaway Camp one. Anthony, nice. Thank you for joining. Always fun to have a conversation with you. So have a good night. It's kind of like escape room type, right? Yeah. Kind of a little bit, but it's more of like those. If you go to around Halloween time, you walk through the haunted house or whatever, but the people can touch you and stuff like that. Like if you have to sign a waiver, and then it's like even crazier. But that's pretty much what that one is. I just put the slip on that Blu-ray. Oh yeah, valid point. So technically, I could do that because this one is this is the original one that they that I got, that RLJE films, but I think RLJ. No, this was Raven Banner, but I could do that. I think that's a smart idea, and then just kind of sell off this one. Because yeah, this is like I said, the standard edition of it. So keep the slipcover, but keep look at that cover. That one's just like crazy looking. I did that with In Time. I had 2 different artworks and just put the slipcover and just combine them. Valid point. Yeah, because this one is not as anywhere close to this one. I definitely enjoy that one. So good idea. Thank you very much. Like I said, I do not have my my DVDs anywhere here. They are in the garage, but probably if I had to pick one of the ones, probably my. Actually, I have it over there. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the complete series, the cartoon version, where it's in the turtle van or whatever, and you pop the top off of it, and it has all the series and all the discs in it. So that's probably the DVD, the best DVD edition I have. I do have the Home Alone tin, like the paint can, with only 2 of the movies are on Blu-ray, and then all the rest are on DVD. So I guess that technically be considered a DVD edition. What else? The Fragger Rock. I got the Fragger Rock complete series with the it's like a big rock. It's all the seasons with that one. I remember getting that for like $20 at BJ's, and then it was going for like hundreds of dollars on eBay. I should have tried to buy every single one and then sell it, but wasn't thinking at the time. So that's another DVD, like a box set that I have. What else? I guess the Tales from the Crypt. I have that over here. Actually, it's all buried behind. If you're looking for cheap, editions, go to Hamilton Book because I got this. The what edition is this? 40th edition of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I got this for $30. So if you're looking for cheap deals and stuff, go to HamiltonBook.com, and then you can find a whole bunch. Like I was talking about the steel books before, they have a whole bunch of editions like that. Have you ever seen Greenland? Gerard Butler nailed the role. That one I have in my cart for Amazon, but I have not seen that. The DVD steelbook that I want is Wanted without the blue stripes. Wanted. I don't think I've ever seen that edition. I have the Wanted, like the comic book edition of the steelbook, but I don't know what the DVD version of that would look like. Like I said too, I was never into steelbooks until I started collecting more and more of them. Like I said, I was getting the horror movie ones, which I found out there are 14 of them. I do have 2 other ones coming in the mail. The last 2 of them, I needed the Last House on the Left. Was that it? Or no, one's The Hills Have Eyes, and then the other one was Jeepers Creepers. Those were the last 2 I needed, and I think there's 14 of them. So now I have when they get here, I have the entire, horror movie Blu-ray set. So like I said, I'll show you the ones that are now like this one here. Like I said, go to Hamilton Book, and you can find this for $5.95. So if you're looking for cool-looking steel books with the same pretty much cover art, it's these guys, and they're cheap. It's a Germany and Italy. That's one thing too. There's so many different versions of certain things, and I'm just like I don't even know where to begin to look because there's so many different countries that put them out. It's doing it again. It's eating you. Now it's stopped. All right. So like I said, the connection, once I start going for about an hour, it seems like the connection kind of goes in and out. So have you ever seen the original and remake of Red Dawn? I saw both of them, and I own both of them. The one with Kurt Russell in the original, and then you have Channing Tatum, I believe, in the remake. They're not bad. I wouldn't consider them in my top movies, but they are watchable, and I have seen them. So yes, that was the answer to that question. But like I said, if you're looking for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, if you're looking for Carrie and Child's Play, they have those on Hamilton Book for $6. So I wish I knew that beforehand, because then I would have not spent $40, especially for this one, because it's dented. I got it, and I guess it was in the mail that it dented, but I got it, and the back corner is all dented to shit. So yeah, now I'm getting myself a copy for a third of the price. I actually bought a couple copies, so look out for a giveaway, because I will be giving it away. But that one, and then like I was saying before, this one was one of the last ones I got, and it's the Black Swan edition of this. It's the same artist that did a whole bunch of these, but some just look a lot better than others. This one, like I said, this one caught my eye for sure. But then there was one that I'm like, I need to get this version of the damn movie, because this one looked, out of all of them, for some reason, this one takes the cake for me. But it's this one here. And it's the Jennifer's Body version of it. So this one is the one the longest time, this was pretty much what kicked off my Steelbook not fascination, but kicked me into my Steelbook drive, and it's this one. For the longest time, I was looking for this. Couldn't find it for any cheaper than like $60, and then finally I got it for $45. I'm like, that's the lowest I found it for. I'm buying it now, no matter what. I was talking about before getting burned and buying stuff for way more than it should have been, but this one was definitely one that I'm like, I need to get this. I need my hands on it, and finally got it. But is Apocalypse redo a horror movie? Never seen it, but heard a lot. That one I haven't heard of myself, so I couldn't even tell you. What's the next new DVD do you want? The one that I've heard a lot, well, not heard a lot about, but I've seen a lot, is the what do you want to call it? The remake or the new Wrong Turn movie. That one I definitely want to check out. There's a few movies on Shudder I'll eventually check out. I Hate You Now for showing off that Black Swan. That, like I said, I got lucky with that too. It was one that if I see anything now, especially certain movies that I know are either out of print or hard to get, if I see it under 40, I'm jumping on it. You know, I could probably find it for cheaper, but if I find it for cheaper than $40, I jump on it, and it's like I have to get it. I can not cry myself to sleep paying $40 for certain movies, but anything over that, if it's like 50, the only one, like I said, recently I got was Ticks, and that was $80 because I'm like, everybody wants it, and I'm like, it's under 100, so I got it. Is that movie like a hot girl being a zombie? It's almost satire. Or is it a really good movie? Not really. I wouldn't call it really good movie by any stretch of the imagination. She kind of she gets attacked by this like band, and let's just say she comes back to life. It's almost like a zombie type feel. Is it worth watching? I'd say definitely for sure, because not only is Megan Fox in it, and she's another one talking about Alexa Deutero. Megan Fox is another one that is really good looking and very good on the eyes. But it's definitely one, for entertainment value, I'd say definitely go ahead and get it. Is it going to win any awards anytime soon? Definitely not. But it's one of those movies. There's certain movies I'd sit down and watch, and I know it's not, a great movie, but it keeps me entertained. I enjoy it. Doesn't have to be, like I said, an award winner for me to sit down and watch it. But Jennifer's Body, will I call it, satire on it? No, I don't think it's satire either. I think it's just a straightforward kind of deal. It's just technically a dark humor because there is, there's some funny spots in it and stuff. But yeah, but like I said, this movie, I consider the movie that kicked me into now, a Steelbook binge, I guess you want to call it. I look for, certain movies that I know might be out of print. And that's what I used to collect literally every Tuesday. I would collect every movie that came out on a Tuesday, spent way too much money. And then one of the guys that I do, just because I love the movie and I want, every collection of it. Do you have DVD of Real Ghost? I do not. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Real Ghost. I do not believe so. But now, I try to, being a collector, I try to have a grasp on what I do have in my collection. Sometimes I forget, and sometimes I'll, only 3 times in my life, and I know it, I've bought movies twice that I didn't realize I had, but I did, like Crybaby. Crybaby, I triple dipped. I bought it the second time because I forgot I had it, and then bought it the third time because I forgot I had it the 2 other times. So that was the only triple dip. But with certain movie. What was the other movie that I got multiple times that I forgot? Crybaby was one of them. 1917, I just recently picked up that I didn't realize I had again, not realize, but there's sometimes I just forget. Like I usually have like I don't want to say a photographic memory, but if I see a cover, um, except for the fact when you have, different cover arts by different companies and all that stuff. But most of the time I can look and be like, okay, I'm looking at this cover art and I remember I already have this movie. I don't have that problem. But there was 3 movies, 1917, Crybaby, and now I'm trying to think of the third one. But there was 3 times I double dipped by mistake, not realizing that I already had a copy of it. But yeah, $200 for a Treasure Planet Steelbook. But yeah, but that's the thing too. Nowadays, steelbooks can go pretty expensive, especially like certain versions of them and stuff. So, eventually, if you can find it for, that's why I check eBay on a constant, because there could be a seller that doesn't know what they have and they're selling it for a lot cheaper. But now all the time, I guess, whenever sellers go on, they have that trending thing where it shows how much each one's worth. Do you have the DVD Rosemary's Baby? Yes, I do have Rosemary's Baby, and then they came out with the mini series or something. I forget what channel it was on, but they do have Rosemary's Baby, like a 3-episode thing. But I do have Rosemary's Baby. Very odd movie, especially towards the end. It kind of just takes you into a different place. I didn't expect. So I don't know if it ever wasn't as big as it is now, but I think a lot of people are collecting steelbooks more often now. My highest steelbook that I want is the Spider-Verse upside down cover in Treasure Planet. There's so many steelbooks that I don't know about that they catch my eye. I would say those are only over 100 that I want. Let me see. I'm trying to think of which ones that I know are, out of print and that are very expensive that I want. Like I said, I'm still new to the whole steelbook collecting thing. But I know, where is it? Like this was another one that I was on the search for the longest time. And I'm lucky I found it in my local Best Buy, because people were selling these things for like ridiculous, like $60, $70 when the movie itself was only $20. And I'm just like, I'm not spending that much. And it never came to the Best Buy that I wanted, like near me. But then they finally put it out, and that's that Hocus Pocus book, whatever edition of it. It's the this one I didn't even open. I bought three copies. There was 3 copies. I bought all 3. I did a giveaway for one of them, and then I opened up the other one. And this one I'm not going to open whatsoever. It's going to stay sealed. But this one was one of the ones that I was like, steelbooks could be really cool because dark. Oh yeah, the new steelbooks that went up are the Matrix, the Rabbit. Come on. Put it back. Yeah, like I said, there's certain Blu-ray steelbooks that I don't know about, but then I'll look and see the cover art, and I'm like, I gotta get it. The Blues Brothers, there was a couple Blues Brothers ones that are I enjoyed. I got 2 versions of that just because they're different looking. But yeah, I must say that never was into steelbooks until now that I know the beauty of what can be. So I'm losing my voice, so I'm probably going to end this at the 1.5 hour mark, just because my voice is starting to go, and it seems like the internet is being choppy. So probably going to end it sooner than later, because it seems like on my end I'm losing it too. So usually around an hour is when this happens. So I might just end it because it gets worse and worse and worse from there. So I have the other Driver one, the one that came out originally that I think was a little bit and a new Fast and Steelbook. And like certain movies, I'm just like, I don't need a Steelbook edition of it. And the Fast and Furious movies, I enjoy them, I guess, for what they are, but they aren't my favorite. But I'll have to check it out just to see what it looks like. Because if it has a nice cover, I'll probably end up getting it. But yeah. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to. Like I said, it gets pretty bad, so I'm probably going to end it. But thank you everyone who came and joined. Anybody that I'm going to try to do more lives more often. But it's just when I get time and when I have the motivation to. But it seems like people are always up to talk movies. So do you watch on YouTube page like this one? His name is Amplified. Amplified, no. There's only certain people that I watch on a regular for like Blu-ray stuff. It's Cool Duder, Wet Movie 1. Those are pretty much the top two. Amplified, I might have to check that one out. I might have heard of it, but I don't remember. But on that note, like I said, I'm going to try to end this now before my throat completely closes up and the stream goes all haywire. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, I see 5 people might have enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Let people know I'm out here. And, of course, hit that bell button so you know I'm talking about a WWE. Oh, no. But if you haven't already, hit that bell button so you know when I do upload more stuff or get notified when I do go live. And like I said, it's always fun talking movies with everyone. And, yeah, I guess until next time. Actually, like I said, we do have podcasts. So if you're interested in podcasts, check us out, Wicked Horror Show, here on YouTube and on Facebook. We do it every Tuesday night. Sergio joins us every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll have people on to talk movies. And check us out there and check out all, I guess, Tony's movies on Instagram and stuff. But I guess until then, until next time, I'll see you guys.